Ultimate MK Podquest.
Pete Davidson's not going to space, but I am. Did you hear that, Neil?
I heard it a little bit.
I've just cracked
nice
open a full sugar Starlight limited edition Coca-Cola Creations
shit.
because you got to go and I didn't get to go, and I think that's a grave injustice.
Going to space.
It's go time.
Chug,
Sorry, this
chug,
smell is
chug,
fucking crazy.
chug.
Hold on.
It's good though, right? I
haven't drank it yet. I'm smelling it.
No, the smell's good.
This smells like if you fill the car's oil pan with cotton candy syrup.
Yeah, you just described good smell.
I'm confused.
It's a confusing beverage.
So, first of all, friendly reminder, A, this is MK Podquest, the show where we talk about drinks mostly.
Mm-hmm.
B, this is like vaguely red. It honestly reminds me of the smell of Urn Brew, which I think we said.
Yeah, we made some comparison to Urn Brew,
which is made out of like boysenberry or whatever the fuck we discovered
like
it was
that.
made out of.
I don't even remember.
Sorry to Greg for probably getting that wrong.
I've got an Urn Brew in the fridge. It's been there for months.
So did Coke go to space to try to figure this out? It says space inspired, but like the thing that's bothering me.
Yeah.
Right? What about this drinking experience? Because they want it to be an experience, Neil.
It is. It's a flavor experience.
Yeah. It's an immersive flavor fantasy. What part of it is supposed to be space other than the label?
It's well, I think that when they were naming the drink and they were like, what flavor is this? And they were like, existential doubt. No, that's not going to sell well. Eldritch horror. And then from there, they just made the leap to space.
So first sip, right?
Uh-huh.
It was almost giving me Pepsi Blue, which you'll remember wouldn't be bad. And the reason it was giving me that is because that first mouthfeel.
You're absolutely right.
That first mouthfeel is real syrupy and real weird.
Right. It's kind of Pepsi Blue kind of had that cotton candy flavor too, didn't it? A little bit. Yeah.
It had like cotton candy, but then it just becomes overpowering with like a bunch of the gross stuff that I've already explained.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of like, and I guess ironically because it's red, it's like the evil Pepsi Blue.
Yeah.
It kind of skews the other way.
It's the Knuckles to Pepsi Blue Sonic.
Yeah. And so my confusion is, so it skews the other way. This is like, what if Knuckles was Tails? Because like it ends up having so much less going on than you'd think it would, right? Like if you drink this on sip number 4,
right,
and just let it sit in your mouth, it's like nothing is happening.
The aftertaste is overwhelming you at that point. You're just getting the aftertaste, I think. When I sipped the zero sugar, it felt like I was taking a sip of a different drink every time.
It is weird. Like, does Coca-Cola Starlight taste like space? We tried Coke's new drink. Why did CNET publish this article?
I'm pretty sure that's the article I read from last time, by the way.
Yeah, it is, but I wanted this list again.
Okay.
Burnt caramel, Skittles. First of all, both of those are wrong. Those people are crazy.
Out of their fucking minds, both of them.
Cherry Coke, they already made that. You're just thinking of that.
It's not Cherry Coke. It doesn't even taste like Cherry Coke. Fucking idiots.
So the two people that are onto something.
Yeah.
Cream soda.
Mm-hmm. The vanilla. Definitely.
Watered down strawberry soda.
Sure.
The watered down comment is perhaps the most poignant.
But it's so carbonated though. Like it's extra carbonated. It's like that fucking...
but it feels like that space carbonation, you know?
Sure, right.
Is masking what it would taste like.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't taste like a lot.
So be careful what you say. Because the cola giant might come after you.
What, is Neil deGrasse Tyson gonna dox our podcast and tell us all the things that we said about space are fake?
I wouldn't
don't give
put
a
it
shit.
past him at
Fuck
this
that
point.
Guy.
That's like what he does, right?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, let people have fun for once, you fucking asshole.
Love to get on that guy's radar just for the retweets. Everyone tweet at Neil deGrasse Tyson with links to MK Podquest. Do it.
Everyone tweet at Neil deGrasse Tyson with links to buy this drink.
Yeah, do that too. Fuck it.
And just with hashtag MK Podquest brought to you by the Coca-Cola Company. I know that's a really long hashtag, but you're going to have to deal with it on this one. Also, Nobody do that, please.
No, but if you like want to tweet at them about our show, that's cool.
Or if you just want to tweet at us if you drink Starlight Coca-Cola Creations special space drink beverage,
Coca-Cola,
you can do that.
I feel like we should say none of these beverage companies are sponsors, and we wouldn't take their money anyway.
Dude, if you thought Pepsi was going to sponsor us after the Pepsi Blue fiasco of 2021, you're dreaming.
We've got integrity. We're not going to take their money. We're gonna be
However,
honest. We're always going to be honest about our beverage reports. That's what people tune in to our show for.
that's why I went to journalism school. It's about ethics and drinks journalism. I will say, though, Pepsi may have considered walking back the Pepsi Blue blacklist ban that we got, blue list, after I gave such a rave review to Peach Oolong Pepsi. However, I do have one comment to make about all of the flavored sodas, pops, colas I've ever drank on this show. On a fundamental level, they all kind of taste the same.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because there is something they have to do to it to get the extra flavor in there that gives it a consistency that makes them all feel the same.
Right.
Like, there is a slightly more syrupy feel to all of them to varying degrees. And I feel like that and a carbonation confusion does mask often whatever it is they're trying to go for. Across the board, it's just some of them deal with that better than others.
They're just taking a base formula and adding more shit on top of it, right? Probably.
Yeah, I feel like what they need to learn is that what they can cut away and replace rather
That's what they did
than
with Crystal
add.
Pepsi, man. They removed the brown.
Yeah, but like Crystal Pepsi's cool. I did drink a not insignificant amount of the Crystal Pepsi revival when I was in my late teens.
I don't know the full details of this, but there's some story out there about how when Crystal Pepsi came out, Coca-Cola launched Tab Clear.
Coca-Cola launched Clear My Search History.
Intentionally to fail, but to basically make Crystal Pepsi look like it was a competing diet drink, a competing Tab product, so that people were turned off to it. And it worked. And that's why Crystal Pepsi fucking tanked the first time.
That is such
Coca-Cola
an insane...
pulled some fucking Shang Tsung shenanigans. Like how I brought that back to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it was pretty...
It was clunky. It was a little clunky, but it
was pretty good.
So I had a weekend.
Uh-huh.
I went to a music festival.
Oh, fuck yeah. How can I forget?
Yeah, I did. I went to a music festival, the Innings Festival.
Like baseball, America's favorite pastime?
It was definitely baseball themed, but they held it in a field behind a football stadium. And I don't know, there were baseball players there being interviewed for a podcast that I've never heard of because I'm not a baseball guy.
There were baseball players at the music festival being interviewed for a podcast?
Mm-hmm. Little show called Off the Mound. You ever hear that?
No free plugs.
Personally, I'm only interested in one sports-related podcast, and it's called Strat 2.
You piece of shit. I haven't even tweeted from that account yet.
Not even gonna say anything more about
elaborate
or about the baseball podcast, because that's not why anybody was there. Everybody was there to see bands like Green Day. You ever hear of Green Day?
No, but I did hear a parody of a Green Day song once. I know I just said I hadn't heard of Green Day, but I'm just realizing now as you say Green Day, it was a Green Day song.
You ever hear of a band called 311?
Yeah, aren't they the guys with the funny Twitter? That's a joke. It's Eve 6 with the funny Twitter.
What about Incubus, Jimmy Eat World?
Wouldn't it be funny if I said the only one that I had ever heard of was Incubus?
It sounds like that might be true.
No, Jimmy Eat World goes fucking hard.
Yeah, dude.
And by Jimmy Eat World, I mean like those two Jimmy Eat World songs that everybody knows are really good.
Most of their albums are fucking bangers. I'm not here to talk about any of them. Jimmy Eat World went fucking hard. 311 opened with Beautiful Disaster. The correct decision.
James Eat World.
Green Day did the exact same set they did when I saw them in like 2016.
Look, man, they know where their hits are.
But I'm not here to talk about any of that, dude, because guess who I saw?
I don't want the burden of potentially guessing wrong. I think you owe it to me and to our listeners to tell us.
from Red Shoe Diaries, Jake Winters himself, David Duchovny.
What?
David Duchovny is a musician. Did you know that?
The titular X-Files himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people probably know him from Red Shoe Diaries. I
David
guess he
Duchovny.
did a little show called Californication. Something called The X-Files. I'm not really familiar with it.
It might be the Z Files. It depends on how you pronounce it. I really don't know.
The Z Files.
Yeah. What the fuck? What?
Yeah,
Pardon?
dude. Okay, so
David Duchovny
played a set. Now he sang. These are songs he wrote and sang. He had a backing band. It is
Does he play any instruments?
He did not during this set. No, he sang and he posed for the crowd a lot. First of all, still best looking human being on planet Earth. We all just need to accept that.
David Duchovny?
Yeah.
Sorry, the cast of Mortal Kombat Conquest. You're fucked, dude.
Would have fit right in on that in that cast is all I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like classic inspired rock, like classic rock, blues inspired, folk inspired, sad man songs. You know what I'm saying? But I had no idea that he was a musician. I saw his name on the lineup. I bought a tote bag with his face on it.
Oh my god!
With the
How
name
have you not sent me a picture
album.
of this yet?
I posted it in the Discord group.
When?
I'll send it to you later.
I gotta find it. I'm not gonna find it. Let's be honest.
No, you're not. So that tote bag has the album art for Gestureland on it, which is his latest album, came out in 2021. He's put out 2 more prior to that. 2018, he put out one called Every Third Thought, and in 2015, his debut album, Hell or High Water.
So this is a thing that came to David Duchovny sort of later in his life.
Sure, after he wrote 4 books, he decided to also release 3 albums.
Fictional novel books?
Yes, fictional novel books.
Cool. Do they have...
Like everything else he's done, mixed reviews.
I was going to ask if they have UFOs.
They do not.
Is he more of like a James Patterson?
Listen, it's going to sound like I'm picking on the man. I'm a fan, everybody. It's David fucking Duchovny.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. You said you bought a tote bag with his fucking face on it.
Yeah.
It does not sound like you're making fun of him.
I just want to be clear. That decision was motivated by wanting something to carry my water bottle around in and my friend Carissa's merch that she bought just to make it easier on us during the day. Definitely getting that David Duchovny face tote bag.
If I had known they were selling them, I would have asked for like 4 or 5.
Well, they were $20 a piece.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, everything there was expensive. Smart
In
merch,
American dollars?
Yeah, 20 American
Fuck.
dollars.
Hang on.
Could have
Hold that
gotten
thought.
a hoodie for like 50, but I wasn't about to do that.
That's 25.16 Canadian dollars.
Damn. I want to talk about this.
16 cents, not like 2,000. Yeah, okay.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's not, the exchange rate isn't that bad yet. So I was pleasantly surprised that the music was pretty good, certainly for the type of music it is, which I am of the age to now be finding myself interested in.
This is what we like to call. Do I want to make this joke?
Go for
You
it.
can cut it out if we don't like it. This is what we like to call in the biz post-divorce music.
You're not lying.
Oh, man.
That's staying in. I described it to some friends as the type of music Hank Moody from Californication would listen to, if that paints a picture for anybody out there.
It doesn't for me, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, well, that's his Californication character.
California character.
But I went on a little deep dive. I dove into the Wikipedia, right? Had to find out more about this. And the only Wikipedia article for one of his albums is for his first album, Hell or High Water. There are 12 tracks, Corey. 2 of them have the word rain in them.
Did you know that rain can be a metaphor for all kinds of things?
The first track is called Let It Rain, and track 6 is called The Rain Song.
Oh, man. He was in the deep end, bro.
He was.
When he wrote this.
David Duchovny, yeah. I just want to pick out a couple snippets here from the critical reception section. Jim Farber of New York Daily News described the record as, quote, a credible rock album.
Is it just me? Is that worse than getting a bad review?
I just imagine that being like the pull quote they put on the back.
I'm picturing a movie poster for something that just is like a credible film.
No, guys, seriously, it's a credible rock album, right?
You've heard rock music? This is some of it.
He also noted that Duchovny's singing style was, quote, sullen, inward, and broken, with the character redeemed by a dark charm.
Dude is out here singing like...
Perfect summation of the music, in my opinion.
Ooh, he's out here singing like... Struggling to think of a Mortal Kombat character's name, I'll tell you that much. He's out here singing like...
Probably Cyrax? Probably Cyrax.
Siang.
Fucking like Kassar, probably.
Out here singing like Taven. Now, Taven listens to a lot of Papa Roach. We all know that.
Taven's definitely into new metal. Maybe this might be a Dagon record. Anyway.
To Taven, new metal's the only metal.
I got like 400 photos of David Duchovny performing. Because what else am I going to fucking do?
Gather round, children. We're going through old grandpa's photo albums. You'll see for the next 8 books, these are my David Duchovny experience.
It was good.
Now, you'll remember, kids, he was in the Red Shoe Diaries. Everybody remembers that from back on Earth.
Grandpa, stop making us watch Red Shoe Diaries. We're 7.
And in space because the Earth died or something. I don't know.
By the way, I watched some Red Shoe Diaries.
World building.
Streaming on Tubi, if anyone's interested. Red Shoe Diaries streaming
so
on Tubi.
So is Columbo, which I just found out, and I need to get on that shit.
Yeah, you know what we're not going to do an episode on for this podcast?
Red Shoe Diaries?
Red Shoe Diaries.
We're backing out?
Every single episode is just softcore porn.
I think you're being a bit of a coward.
Well, you are the one who won't do Poison Ivy New Seduction, so I'm classifying this with that.
Well, look, here's the problem, though. I can't agree to do both because then I'm just losing twice. So, I mean, one of us has to bite somewhere. I've at least done a Poison Ivy movie already on a different show.
Right. Maybe we tackle New Seduction over there, and you have me on for it.
Or we just do a Red Shoe Diaries episode that we make Liam and Mitch participate in for no real reason.
Yeah, because more people awkwardly sitting around.
This is a remake of the Red Shoes, Mitch. Trust me, bro.
Which is how we got on Red Shoe Diaries in the first place on this podcast. Full fucking circle. Classic
That's called
MK
Professional
Podquest.
Prestige Podcast.
That was like episode 3.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
Man.
You know who else is back?
Goro.
Prince of Pain.
Charles Marshall's back with his bullshit.
He is certain that he is big and strong. He's certain that he's the champion of Mortal Kombat. He is certain that his name is Goro, Prince of Pain.
Prince of Pain. I had a revelation. I think Kevin Tancharoen read all of these before he made Legacy. Like all of the Mortal Kombat Malibu comics.
What, did the comics take all the color out?
No, he decided to do the opposite. But I had this realization. I mean, this is probably better for the Blood and Thunder episode we're going to be doing later. But like, I was like, man, comic book Sub-Zero is so soft. Where have we had a soft Bi-Han before? It was in fucking Mortal Kombat Legacy 2.
I
Legacy
think
2.
that what Kevin Tancharoen should have done, and you might know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. He should have not been a coward.
And?
He should have committed to the combatant.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah. I can't believe we were actually on the same page.
What else is it going to be?
Big gun, I guess. I don't know. Chess. Maybe we wanted more chess.
I don't know how this is so fucking complicated. Oh my God. Tancharoen.
Obligated to press that button when his name comes up.
We've hit our quota.
We're here to talk about Goro, Prince of Pain, issues 1 through 3, the first miniseries in the Mortal Kombat comic book series. Just straight up interrupted Blood and Thunder 1 through 3.
Books do that sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, these ran concurrently with like 4, 5, and 6 or whatever. Yeah, because it was issue 3 of Blood and Thunder where Goro just like bamfed out of there, right?
That's correct.
So we're jumping over to talk about what's going on with our boy Goro, the titular Prince of Pain in the Malibu Mortal Kombat universe. That is rough to say sometimes. Malibu Mortal Kombat, Jesus Christ. I'm just going to call him the comics.
That's fine.
I'm going to do just a quick, fast Neil Nook.
Quick, fast.
To run through the all the people involved in bringing these issues to life.
These issues.
Welcome to the News. Thanks, Gucci.
Goro, Prince of Pain was written by Charles Marshall. Again, I'm pretty sure he wrote all of these. We got pencils by Roy Burdine, Kiki Chansamone. We've got inks by Jack Snyder, Scott Reed, and Bruce McCorkindale. Colors and color design.
Sorry.
You laughing at McCorkindale?
You fucking know it. That sounds like a John C. Reilly character's name.
Colors and color design by Chris Young, Scott Katanich, Mike Heileman.
I love Settlers of Katanich.
Okay. Janice Wismar, and an in-house color studio called Violent Hues. That's just the name for one of Malibu's in-house color studios.
Cool.
And we've got lettering, of course, by Joe Allen and Brad Thompty. Thompty or Tomty? Hey, Brad.
Probably Tomty, right?
Let's go with Tomty.
Tomty's my favorite fallen egg.
Tomty's my favorite Mortal Kombat comic book letterer.
Damn. Ugh.
Just jump right into this wild ride.
Yeah.
We're gonna see a lot in this. Corey, this probably isn't too fresh on your mind. Hope you got your notes ready.
Yeah.
Because a lot happens in these 3 issues. It's gonna come back to you, man.
I mean, I skimmed them again. You'll maybe notice that I did a loud, funny sound just now.
While you speed read all 3 issues.
Yeah, sort of, doing. I went into my mind palace like Sherlock does, and read all. I lost my notes. I lost my notes. I took notes on all the issues, and I lost my notes.
So you're probably kind of feeling like a stranger in a strange land right now.
You motherfucker. So that was really good. So I've got 4 screenshots and a dream and some skimming, and we're going to talk about these books.
Issue 1 is titled Stranger in a Strange Land.
It's my favorite Rush
and
song.
Basically, Goro just appears in some city somewhere. They don't name it. I think you and I both know it's Deacon
Chicago.
City.
Oh.
It's Deacon City. It's gotta be.
It's where Midway is.
Yeah. He immediately threatens some cops because Goro doesn't back the blue.
Dude, could you imagine if this was like, they were like, we're finally going to show Goro's true colors here. And he's like picking people up that are kneeling for the anthem. And he's like,
Jesus Christ.
He's got 4 arms. He's just a real piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, it's Goro. He kind of is. But in this instance, he's not taking shit from these cops. He says shit like they're trying to stop him from, I don't know, fucking them up or whatever. And he's like, "Stop, mighty Goro. You might as well try to stop the wind." Because, again, everybody speaks
banger fucking lines in this, though.
in
like,
third person.
Listen to me. Listen to Shag's song.
So while he's fucking up these cops, a talking crow named Rook just shows up.
Rook, named after the chess piece.
Mm-hmm, certainly.
I bet, probably.
Yeah. And Rook just like shoots green lasers out of its eyes and kills both of the cops, disintegrates them.
Yeah, like Mars Attacks.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Hey, Goro, come with me. We're going to go meet the world's most mighty sorcerer." And we're going to refer to this sorcerer as Z or Mr. Z.
Okay, I'm going to say his name once.
It's a really unfortunate spelling of the name.
I'm going to say it one time.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everybody knows why we're not going to say it 100 times.
Yeah.
It's Zagat, which, if said quickly in a funny joke environment,
Sure.
might sound like a different word.
Plus, just, fidelity loss in the recording, etc. No screw ups here. Mr. Z.
A short time later, they go to the world's mightiest sorcerer, which is a title that's getting kind of old in the Mortal Kombat universe because there keeps being new ones.
There are several.
One of you guys can't, most means something. But so he describes himself in a bunch of Earth references.
Yeah, he does.
He says, I am the Lord of the Rings, the great and powerful Oz. I walk the streets of gold and live in the palace made of clouds. I am the man with the plan, the forever saint. The power lies within to do whatever I will.
Yeah, it does.
And Goro's like, I don't got time for your big words, Magic Man. And he tries to kick his ass.
Tries to kick his ass, but we don't get to see what happens because we cut to Outworld. Shang Tsung has just materialized like in the sky in front of
the boys.
Few famous Mortal Kombat characters. We've got Reptile, Kitana, Melina, and Baraka making their debuts.
Baraka is a good example of how just outrageous these characters look.
Yeah.
Because like it's like, what if Baraka was absolutely bursting at the fucking seams with swollenness and in a constant state of permanently flexing?
He looks like he's wearing somebody else's skin that's too small for him.
And so does everybody else, but I feel like Baraka really exemplifies it.
Yeah.
It's him and it's every character's traps are just like comedically gigantic. Like it looks like you can play Goro's traps like a guitar.
Roy Burdine killed it on the Baraka like face.
Yeah, there were a couple other faces that were maybe killed to a lesser extent. So I'm glad that we can shout out one of them.
Yeah, Baraka looks tight. I like that Reptiles are represented with green eyes, like pupilless green eyes. That's very cool.
You know what they say?
What do they say?
Green eyes, green lies, dude.
I'm good. That is what they say.
It's, when you're right, you're right.
When you're right, you're right. And Shang Tsung's basically like, hey guys, look, Goro just kind of disappeared, but I'm a mighty wizard. Sorcerer. I'm a mighty sorcerer.
I'm the most mighty sorcerer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm one of them, certainly.
Top 5.
Top 5. Yeah, Shang Tsung is definitely top 5 mightiest sorcerer. He's like, hey, I need you 4 to go find Goro because he's going to pop into Outworld here sometime. So Reptile and Baraka start bickering with each other because they hate each other. And I kind of like this because Reptile's like super loyal to Shao Kahn and Baraka hates Shao Kahn, I guess because, the Tarkatans were conquered by him. So they're like ready to fucking throw down. Also, they still speak in third person, but Baraka also speaks like a caveman.
Well, you see, so much of his brain power is spent on permanently flexing every muscle in his body simultaneously.
Right. Also, his brain is, how we use like 10% of our brains?
He's actually using like 130 or so, and it kind of starts circling back around a little bit.
He's using 100% of his brains, but his brains are all made of teeth.
And they're perfectly smooth.
Yeah, so they're like fighting, and Kitana like chills them out. She's like, hey, sooner we finish this task where Goro is going to somehow appear in Outworld somewhere at some point, some place we don't know. The sooner we get that settled, the sooner we can just all depart and go our separate ways.
And then Melina says...
Yeah, what does Melina say?
Melina is like, yeah, and also, fuck you. I don't trust your ass. Also, stop talking about our dad.
I mean, that's internal monologue, but yeah, Melina is...
Oh, I straight up thought she was fucking saying it. Also, I thought it was interesting that they play the card that like Melina gets to be suspicious of this, which is not typical.
That's a flip for sure. But also something Kevin Tancharoen did with Melina in Mortal Kombat Legacy. There's another similarity. Anyway, so Shang is like, all right, you 4, hurry up, because if you fail, I'm going to be pissed, but just imagine how pissed Shao Kahn is going to be. He's going to be more pissed than me, because I'm the world's mightiest sorcerer, but he's like the world's mightiest sorcerer, right?
You know how you can tell? This is a lot of people don't know this. It's just, if they capitalized most mightiest, it means that they're actually number 1, and if they don't, they're just one of the lesser 4. Right. However, we have run into a slight issue where none of them can agree, so they're all capitalizing it.
Yeah. You got to look for the italics. You got to look for the italics is what you got to do.
It's all in the kerning. You have to listen to how they're talking, and you can hear the kerning.
Anyway, we cut to the living
Cobalt
fucking
Mines.
forest. No, man, my favorite Mortal Kombat stage of all time.
This sequence is maybe one of the funniest things we will ever encounter.
This is incredible.
Doing this podcast.
The scene is so fucking good.
It's
because
so funny.
We meet Kung Lao. Modern Kung Lao, not the great Kung Lao. The less good Kung Lao. We'll call
Walking
him.
through the woods like a fucking drifter in a big cape.
Yeah.
Big old cape. Billowing cape.
Starts talking to one of these living trees, right? And this tree tries to pick a fight with him.
So I need you to repeat that sentence that you just said.
Kung Lao starts talking to one of these living trees. And this tree tries to pick a fight with him.
A tree tries to pick a fight with a man, and the response, oh my God, the response is essentially Kung Lao going, like, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And he punches the tree so hard and so fast, the tree splits completely in half.
The tree like his fists are made of beavers. It's tight as fuck.
You can't use that word after that. No thanks.
That was unintentional.
Can I make one
Staying
more joke that you
in.
that you might not keep, and then we can keep going? Because you saying that made my brain go, he's got pussy fists.
It's staying in. Oh, just so everybody knows, this is a late night recording.
It's not that late. It's just
this is Mortal Kombat. This is MK
it's
Podquest.
nighttime, middle of the week. This is MK Podquest nights. I'm drinking the space drink.
This is MK Podquest nights. This is the MK Podquest diaries is what this is. All right. Anyway, we cut back to Deacon City, I assume, where Goro and Z are having a little confrontation. And Z pulls a little Danny the Street action and turns like the road into big hands and restrains Goro and like wraps a telephone pole around him. And then he's like, all right, I'm taking you to Outworld. And Goro's like, I'm not a fool. You can't open a portal to Outworld. That's impossible. And Z is like, but I am older than Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn. I have powers they could never dream of. I can open any gateway I want. So let's go to Outworld, Goro. I'm going to make you the king of Outworld, right?
Yeah, which is a wild thing to just say to somebody.
We cut away again because even though this is Goro, Prince of Pain, this was also how they introduced every single character added to the roster for Mortal Kombat 2. So we cut away from what's going on with Goro a lot. Like, I'd say 50% of this miniseries is not Goro related.
Look, they had to fit it in somewhere.
Sure. But we cut to Jax, who's on the Special Forces battle boat searching for Sonya. It is important to note that this is Jax with non-robot arms.
This
right?
is Jack's pre-metal arms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't know how those work in this universe. We'll find out as the series goes on. I think when we get to the U.S. Special Forces issues, we might get some answers there. But Jax is on the battle boat, and he's like talking about how he needs to find Sonya, his partner, and all this kind of shit. And then he just sort of runs the boat into a rock, and it explodes, and he almost drowns. But then he remembers he needs to save Sonya, so he survives and swims to shore because he's a good soldier and a really, really fucking bad sailor.
Yeah, there's a reason there's different branches of the armed forces.
Armed forces. Right?
Branches.
Because it's Jax.
Because Kung Lao killed a tree.
God, man, we're on fire.
Water. Because it's World Water Day.
Oh, shit, it is. Happy World Water Day, by the way, dude.
But, thank you.
Go. I can't believe that their the way they introduced Jax. Like, so they introduced Kitana and the boys by just like having them out in Outworld, hanging out, even though they hate each other. They introduced Kung Lao by having him punch a tree down, which was sick. And then they introduced Jax by making him run his boat into a rock and almost die.
But then...
The disrespect.
Not die.
The disrespect. I'm just saying.
He ultimately lives.
Sure, he does.
He goes on to do some pretty cool stuff.
He will, yeah. But to round out issue 1, we learn that Z has taken Goro into Outworld to show him his greatest creation. He doesn't actually want to make Goro king of Outworld. He actually just needed to steal some of his essence.
His essence.
Because he has combined the fighting spirit of Johnny Cage.
First of all, I need to stop you there really quick.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Please. Yes.
When the fuck did that become Johnny Cage's defining character trait?
Right. We learned in Mortal Kombat Legacy that his incredible speed is his defining character trait.
And we've learned in other lore that it's his Mediterranean war cult ancestry that gives him great magical powers.
Yeah. Well, that's modern.
Which seems pretty crucial.
I mean, that came after the timeline reset. So I guess dude was just fast before.
Dude was just fucking quick, bro.
So he's combined the fighting spirit of Johnny Cage, the determination of Sonya, the bloodthirsty cunning of Kano, the speed and dexterity of Liu Kang, the subterfuge and skill of Sub-Zero.
I fail to see how that quality is relevant. Also, does subterfuge secretly mean ice powers? Because the combatant has ice powers.
I've taken his ice powers. And the supernatural abilities of Scorpion and the raw energy of Raiden. Oh, and the skill and guile of Shang Tsung.
They shouldn't be illegally allowed to say guile.
Right. Yeah, it's even spelled the same.
Yeah, what? Do you not think Konami's going to sue you for ripping off Tekken?
You asshole. But now, anyway, he's got all those ingredients. He's got all of those things like simmering in a pot, and now he has added the size and strength of Goro to create the ultimate agent of chaos, which he will use to destroy Outworld and then Earthrealm. And this being that Z has created is called the Combatant with a K. What does the Combatant look like, Corey?
So, have you ever seen Goro?
Yeah.
He's like 95% Goro.
95% Goro, give or take.
So I would argue that the remaining 5% of Goro is his head, because the rest of him is mostly traps and arms.
Sure. Tell me about this head.
So, okay. Have you ever heard of a submarine?
I have. Yes.
Okay. Like the water ones.
Yeah, Jax could have used one of those.
Could have. So you know how they have periscopes on them?
Yeah.
So his head, don't picture Goro's head.
Mm-hmm.
Picture something sort of metallic and tubular, sort of like a periscope might look like.
Okay.
But it's also a bit like alien goopy.
Okay.
Like it's partially like the traps are metallic, but the rest of it is more like
so fucking hyper focused on the traps.
Well.
It's a little bit like so I'm picturing maybe like a Terminator head.
Not quite. It's a lot narrower than that.
Narrower, okay.
And it's it gives way to like Prometheus.
The engineer. Are you talking about the engineers in Prometheus?
I am. So picture that kind of like what you assume the texture of that skin is.
Okay.
But it's just like a bulbous orb with a big red eye.
Because I imagine that skin is like printer paper.
Okay, don't imagine that. We have different sort of perceptions of that. Picture, those when you go to like a gacha game that has like 25-cent toys in it, and they're like a wind-up car or like a sticky hand.
Sure. Okay, I know the sticky hand.
Picture a sticky hand, right?
Okay, sure.
Picture an engineer-esque, narrow, periscope-shaped, bulbous top, singular red eye, metal-trapped, sticky hand head. Did that help?
Beautiful. Perfect description. That's exactly what the combatant's head looks like. I'm looking at this artwork and I'm noticing he has 4 different gauntlets on his arms.
Those are to represent the different people you can play in Gauntlet.
He's got the Valkyrie gauntlet. He's got the Wizard gauntlet.
The Wizard Gonk droid.
He's got the Barbarian gauntlet. No, this is like Liu Kang, Goro, Sub-Zero, and maybe Sonya's gauntlets. That's kind of tight. I don't know exactly whose are. Probably one of these is Kano's gauntlets, yeah.
Let's be honest, they weren't letting her get in there.
So he's got 4 arms, but one from each of the fighters he stole the powers of. Those look like Johnny Cage's legs to me.
Yo, I'm only just noticing that he has a mouth.
Yeah, he's got a mouth. It's
I kind of failed to describe the mouth.
Sure, tell me about the mouth.
You ever see
Prometheus?
You ever see the Joker? Not the Joaquin Phoenix one, but what's the one where he's got the camera?
Mm-hmm.
The comic book with the camera?
Yeah, a Killing Joker.
Yeah. And you know how his smile's big and triangular?
That is the Killing Joke smile. Jesus Christ.
Look, I know some things, okay? It's not always a joke.
Perfect description.
Yeah, it's that.
Okay.
So if you've heard of the very famous comic book, The Killing Joke,
yeah,
you can basically picture Goro.
He does seem wide to me. He's like a wider Goro, so it's kind of like a Wario situation.
So I have a very important question. I know you have to edit this tonight, but these kinds of things simply can't wait.
Right.
So do you think that the purple smoke is to signify that he's more of like a Waluigi?
No, it's a Wario thing because, well, first of all, Wario's got purple overalls, right?
Sure, but so does Waluigi.
I know, but the reason this is canon, the reason he's named Wario is it's an abbreviation of his full name, which is Wide Mario.
I don't know if I agree with that. I actually think it's I don't have enough time to Google it to make this joke. Fuck. This joke would have been really funny.
They should have called him Waro.
No, I was going to say the wa stands for wamono, which I've seen to describe a particular kind of Japanese music, but I can't find a definition that conveniently makes the joke work.
Do your own research, listeners.
All I'm going to do is send Neil a link to the thing I was talking about, and he'll decide if that's funny or not.
I mean, this is staying in.
Oh, yeah. This is the podcast.
That's the end of issue 1.
We have 2 more to go, and it has been a whole hour of our time.
Issue 2.
Tissue.
Titled Down and Out in Outworld.
I don't know why they didn't just call it Down and Outworld.
Yeah, well, email Charles Marshall.
Email Charles Martinet. Ask him about Wario.
Here we go.
Tweet at Neil deGrasse Tyson. Ask him about Wario.
Why didn't they just call it Down and Out in Outworld? Why didn't they just call it Down and Outworld? And also, is Wario short for Wide Mario?
What would that make Waluigi short for? He ain't Wide Luigi. I'll fucking tell you that for free.
Well, he's not. Well, because it's not wide. Because he added it's the WA, so it's Water Luigi.
Women's Association.
The combatant has thoroughly fucked up Goro in a fight. We see the combatant freeze him. We see him do a scorpion harpoon. We see him uppercut him. God damn it. I'm not saying that on the podcast.
No, there's a reason I typed it. I'm sorry, this is the last time I'll do that.
We see him do a classic Mortal Kombat uppercut. We see him shoot some Raiden lightning. And we get the full story on what Z is all about. Z's just like talking about how he is the embodiment of chaos and he hates conformity, which is kind of sick. You know who we haven't described yet? We have not described what Z looks like, Corey.
Yeah, you ever see the most fucked up wizard you've ever seen in your life?
He's got bad teeth, right? Bad teeth. To stay on the Joker thread. You know Jack Nicholson's Joker from the first Batman movie or the Tim Burton Batman movie? You know how he had that purple trench coat and purple hat?
Right. Sure.
Yeah. And, green hair.
Yes.
Imagine that, except with very long green hair and a very long Gandalf beard.
I was going to say, what if Jack Nicholson's The Joker was being played by Gandalf?
Perfect.
And
Perfect
I don't mean
description.
Ian McKellen. I mean Gandalf.
And he's got some black shit. He's got like scraggly eyebrows and stuff too.
Man ain't got no ding dang teeth in there.
No, no, he does not.
Well, he does have a few. They just look kind of. He's like 90%. Much like most men in this book are 90% traps. He's quite thin, but he is about 88% gums.
His gums are extremely muscly.
That's where he keeps all of his magic in there.
Yeah, so that's our boy. That's our boy Z. And yeah, he just is the embodiment of chaos. Meanwhile, we see where Jax ended up, and he ended up on Shang Tsung's island. Apparently, Shang Tsung was expecting him because he's just like chilling on the beach, like under a canopy with a banquet and some guards, right? And he's like, "Hey, Jax, I've been expecting you. Have something to eat." Jax, being a fucking badass, picks up a turkey leg, takes a bite, and then he's like, "There, I had something to eat." And then he smashes the table.
He does. Do you think that Jax, when he goes to Disneyland, does that?
He gets a turkey leg every single time and then smashes the cart that served them.
Yeah, and he should because they shouldn't sell that there.
And he says, "I wanted Dole Whip." So he's like, "Where's my partner? Where's Sonya
Where's my
Blade?
snare?
Where's my snare? I can't hear my Sonya Blade in my headphones." And
it's probably true. He probably could.
Shang Tsung lies to him, and he's like, "Oh man, dude, she was just here, but Goro took her and then went to Outworld. So if you want her, go to Outworld. I got a portal over there for you. Here, take this orb. I got it from the Warrior King. And when you find Goro, touch that orb and speak my name, and we'll teleport you all back here, right?"
And also, he calls himself Shang Tsung a few times.
Of course he does. But Shang's just sending everybody after Goro, right? Everyone he runs into. Hey, go find Goro, right? Meanwhile, Goro wakes up somewhere called the library.
Nerd.
And there's this old blue lady who's shushing him. And it was at this point where I was completely sold on this comic book series.
It took a whole issue and a half?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This old blue lady is named Miss Bishop, and we're not going to describe her. She's just an old blue lady.
You ever see the music video from Eiffel 60, Eiffel
Sure, yeah.
75?
She's blue,
you know,
dabba dee dabba die. Eiffel 65.
Thank you.
And she introduces Goro to an old non-blue man, former member of the Blue Man Group, but was kicked out for not being blue enough.
He's got the fit down. You know what? So if you want to try to picture Abacus.
Yes, this man's name is Abacus.
Just sort of picture a turtlenecked, long-haired Christopher Lee or a Peter Cushing type. Whatever one really, you know.
If Christopher Lee as Saruman.
True, we can't just go back to the Lord of the Rings thing that keeps coming up.
Played Steve Jobs, but didn't change his hairstyling at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Goro punches the shit out of some books with two fists and says the phrase, "Bah, this day has been filled with the blatherings of crazy men. Well, Goro has had enough." And that makes me wonder if Goro was listening to this podcast.
Oh. Anyway,
He didn't. At no point did Goro say that was bad. He just said he needed a break.
Abacus is Z's brother, and he tells Goro that they are both gods. Z is the god of chaos, and this nerd here, Abacus, is god of order. And when Goro punches all those books, Abacus is like, "Dude, you just like fucked up events across many different worlds and timelines, and you just made my brother Z stronger because he's the goddamn god of chaos, and I'm the lord of order, etc., etc." Right? So he's like, "Hey, Goro, I've been expecting my brother to do some shit like this for a long time, creating this combatant to like bring chaos everywhere. I've been working on a weapon, but it's a very special weapon, and you're the only one who can wield it. And come with me. I'm going to show you why." But before we get to see that, we cut back to the Living Forest, where Kung Lao has found Liu Kang's body. He's injured. He was stabbed in the back by Kano in an issue of Blood and Thunder that we have not read yet, so I'm looking forward to getting to that.
Oh, they are interconnected?
They stagger, yeah.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, but that's all right. This is like the only thing, I think, that carries over, really. But we get to know this universe's version of Kung Lao, right? He's reflecting on his ancestor, the great Kung Lao, who was killed by Goro in events we saw in Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins. And Kung Lao's soul was taken by Shang Tsung. And apparently this has cursed every generation of the Lao family, and they have all been failures.
You can't win them all, and they certainly aren't.
For some reason.
Some might argue they're losing them all.
They are, because they're fucking losers. This Kung Lao has somehow been banished to Outworld for some reason. So he's like, but maybe if I take care of Liu Kang, I'll get some redemption. So we're going to find out more about this Kung Lao in other series, I hope. But then we cut back to what's going on with our boy, the combatant, a.k.a.
the Cruiser Bruiser, the Master Blaster. And then Goro says, hang on. I need to say the whole thing for this to really be funny. So
yeah, say the whole thing.
Ignore some context that clearly is missing.
It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
That's what I thought too, Zed. That Goro would make a most unfitting agent for the God of Order. But Abacus has a theory, a game theory, one that Goro plans to put to the test. So let's get crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe Matt Pat stole the name for game theory from the Mortal Kombat Prince of Pain books.
It's fucked up. The combatant has just been fucking up and killing everyone in Outworld. He's facing off against Baraka, Reptile, Katana, and Melina. He fucks all of them up, but our boy Baraka manages to cut one of his arms off, which was pretty tight.
It was pretty cool, and now he's got the world's largest gun.
Yeah,
also,
Goro's here.
Can we agree that it's weird that the Order God was like, I know what will fix chaos if I make the world's largest laser gun. That
gun
only
so
the biggest,
large,
baddest dudes can hold it.
So large, so heavy, so complicated, you need to be 8 feet tall and 700 pounds and have 4 arms to manipulate this giant X-Men style cable gun. That's the plan. That is
that's
Abacus's
the theory.
plan. That's the weapon. So we get a splash page, a brilliant fucking splash page of Goro holding this gigantic 90s comic book gun saying,
Let me describe the gun.
Describe the gun.
So, you ever heard of Nerf?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are we talking Ballzooka?
Yeah, adjacent to that, more of a dart situation here. So
The Bubsy Gun?
This gun inexplicably has the following 3 things. A big hole on the end that a laser comes out of, a belt full of hot dog buns,
Sure.
and a gigantic magazine.
It's got a magazine and a belt.
I don't know, and also it doesn't shoot bullets.
It looks like it's got like 2 chain gun, like
it might be chain guns, yeah,
on
but
the
also
bottom, and
like
then several along the sides.
it's got 1 scope.
But how would you ever hold this thing up to your fucking face to use the scope?
The scope's for tactical style points. The scope is being worn in the same way that like anybody who stormed the U.S. Capitol wore like a tactical helmet and a vest. It doesn't do anything, but it looked cool to them.
How you can't even hold this thing up to your face. Imagine the kickback on this thing. Take your fucking head off.
I hadn't considered the potential that the recoil just hit Goro in the fucking face.
So this issue ends with Goro saying, "Let's get crazy," while he wields the biggest fucking gun I've ever seen, created by the God of Order. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen, based on that ending splash page. What do you think issue 3 is going to be titled?
Vote on your phones now.
That's right. You all guessed it 100%. Issue 3 is titled Armed and Dangerous.
Boop, boop, boop,
Get it?
boop. Get it? Because he has
got
4 arms.
4 arms, and he's armed, and he's dangerous, and guns are dangerous.
And Jax is there.
And Jax is also there, and we know Jax loves arms.
The hit Nintendo fighting game.
And his grandfather hates horses. Goro just absolutely blows the combatant away. Just like one shot, combatant's down.
Can
Done.
we
That's
agree
it.
that it's anticlimactic that he just shows up with a big gun from the Order guy and just kills him in one fell swoop?
Unbelievably anticlimactic, but we only
We've
got 3
spent
issues.
2
and we got a lot
issues
to
building
cover.
up this guy, and they're like, oh, we ran out of time for a fucking conclusion.
Yeah. Because they spent all that time introducing everybody else for Mortal Kombat 2. Anyway, Zed is pissed. But he uses mind control and takes control of Baraka and makes him fight Goro. But then Jax intervenes because Jax has also been stumbling around Outworld now looking for him. And then he and Baraka fight for like 5 fucking pages.
Yeah, and okay, so it's worth mentioning here that all of the art is really great in that just aggressively, outrageously 90s kind of way.
Fantastic art. Yes.
And also all the colors are great. They're so fucking vibrant. Like
when we get to the bad art, we'll tell you.
Yeah, every color choice is really bold and bright and exciting, but this medium just does not lend itself to combat. Like just looking at pages of just like a guy in a fight pose doesn't do it for me.
There are comics that have fantastic fight sequences in them. I mentioned Scud the Disposable Assassin. There's 1 2-page spread of just Scud action in one of the final issues. That's fantastic. Mike Hawthorne did a series called Hysteria, which was just one long like chase and fight scene. It can be done. It is not being done in these books. Not well, anyway.
No, not well.
While Baraka and Jax are fighting, Reptile and Melina want to jump in and kill Jax, but Katana stops them. I don't particularly remember why, except that we know Katana's not really a bad person. So then Jax just ends up putting Baraka down, because of course he does, right?
Right.
Then Reptile attacks him with acid, except Goro just like picks up Reptile and just throws him away, right? And then everyone just starts getting fucking teleported out of there, because that just sort of keeps happening in these Mortal Kombat comic books.
It's true.
People just get teleported all over the place, right? Jax and Goro are left standing there. Jax asks Goro where Sonya is, but then they also get teleported away. And Goro thinks he's going home, but he isn't. He ends up before Z.
He ends up in Chicago again.
Z is like, it's time for me to reveal my true form. Do you remember what his true form looks like, Corey?
So, have you ever seen, let me think. What's the funniest version of this? Anyway, just picture a fucked up wolf guy.
Wolf guy? He's got wings. He's like a vulture, dude.
But he's got like he sort of has like a bit of a fur vibe as well, does he not?
I mean, he looks like Vulture if Vulture from...
Hold on, I'm going to the tape.
Spider-Man.
I'm going to the tape.
Not like Michael Keaton. And we talk about Michael Keaton a lot on this. There's a Birdman reference that just got cut out. there was the Batman, Tim Burton Batman talk. Now we're talking Vulture, but not the Michael Keaton Vulture from the MCU.
I was wrong. So you ever see that thing Neil said?
Birdman, it's going back in.
No, it's not. I meant the thing that you just said as a bit, the Vulture thing.
Like classic Spider-Man Vulture.
God,
except,
I'm also looking at
mutated.
Goro's face in this sequence, and holy shit, it is so fucked up.
Oh, this is one of those faces they didn't kill it on.
He looks like the Green Goblin. You know what I mean?
These are Kiki Chan-Simone pencils.
They're great. I don't want to make it sound like they're bad. They're just like kind of funny as well.
There was definitely a change in style, though. Picture a fucked up mutant vulture man. That is what Z looks like. And he's like, let's fight.
Now look
Goro,
at your man.
right?
Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Unfortunately, your man doesn't look like me. He looks like a fucked up vulture man.
But Goro's like thinking back to Abacus's words, and he's like, oh man, wait. Abacus told me that more conflict and chaos only makes Z stronger. So Z keeps trying to goad Goro into fighting him, but Goro's like, no, I haven't fought anybody in my entire miniseries. I'm not about to start with you, right? So he just doesn't give in. And Z starts to literally shrink because his power is diminishing.
Which is a fun idea. It is weird, though, that you'd think that the guy who runs on chaos power maybe would have considered the possibility that somebody might not follow him without thinking about it.
Maybe.
Because wouldn't it be chaotic to not follow the guy giving you instructions? Wouldn't you consider this?
Yeah, it would be chaotic. Yeah, you're right. That should kind of, yeah.
everything. The problem with being the
double
chaos
jeopardy.
guy,
Chaos is
who is double jeopardy. The problem with being chaos guy is that you can't plan for every contingency because the logic is circular. So
Right.
everything becomes potentially chaotic or not,
Yeah.
depending on what the person does and
That's
also
some
what
fucking-
they might otherwise do.
That was the downfall of Heath Ledger's Joker. That was the downfall of Silva.
That was the
in
downfall
Skyfall.
of Goro.
Several other movie villains in like circa 2008, probably. Anyway, Z shrinks so small that Goro just fucking eats him.
Like he was going to eat the bird.
He eats him. He fucking. This is a Vor miniseries, is what this is.
Picture a Vorulture.
Should have been called Voro, Prince of Pain.
Voro, hungry man.
And that's it. That's the end of Z, or is it? Because when Goro eats him, he's like, that's the natural order. The big and strong eat the small and weak, Z. That is the natural order. Just chows down on the dude. Then Goro gets teleported home, finally.
This is Goro's Spider-Man arc. Does he get transported to other dimensions in those? I don't know.
But he did learn the important lesson that with great power comes great responsibility.
He did learn the important lesson that sometimes there's three of you. Is it too it's close to the movie's release to make that joke? I haven't seen it. I just saw the tweets.
Everybody knows. I haven't seen it either yet.
Okay.
We get a little epilogue in this where we see Abacus and Z basically playing that chess game from Star Wars with like figures that look like the people in the story, right? And Abacus is like, gotcha, I win. And Z is like, I'm going to still make Goro pay or some shit. Because this was all a game. This was all a game to these two
It's always a game.
assholes, these gods with unlimited power just toying with humanity. Throughout the
Raiden also
realms,
likes
throughout
playing
the
games
universe.
with people.
He does, but I don't think at this like he's not a professional like these two dudes are. Like these guys are a pro. These guys are like I got nothing. These guys are pros.
Rest assured that Discord ping was not me.
Those also don't come into the recording.
I know, but
You-
I feel like it's funny to mention them without them being hearable.
All right, that is it. That is Goro, Prince of Pain. Corey, what did you think of this insanity?
It was fun. It's not something I would ever like revisit.
You're not going to revisit. I'm not going to revisit this one either. I don't
No,
think.
does it look peak 90s? Yes. Does it have an
Yeah.
amazing color palette? Yes. Is some of the dialogue completely fooked? Yes. Does that make for a pretty good time? Yes.
Yeah, it's a good way to kill like 25 minutes, you know?
Yeah, I can think of significantly worse ways to kill a variety of different lengths of minutes.
Does not feel very Mortal Kombat-y yet.
No,
Like
it
the people are
feels-
there.
It feels like it feels Mortal Kombat adjacent.
Drastically different than anything else we've talked about on this show. Anything else we've watched or read.
Yeah.
Big laser guns and Michael Keaton references everywhere.
It does have a lot of legacy in its DNA, doesn't it? Or, you know,
think so.
vice versa.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, they're
Because I would describe
trying.
legacy as frequently feeling Mortal Kombat adjacent.
right. Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
I don't mean it as a total pejorative, but it's just like in terms of what you would anticipate in a very straight ahead, like if somebody said the words Mortal Kombat to you versus what you 100% get, those aren't always the same thing.
Right. But again, this was written at a time when, like, this was out before movies, novels, cinematic story modes in the games, conquest modes, etc. This was like the earliest attempt at serialized Mortal Kombat storytelling. And just weird compared to everything else, right?
Right.
Fun. Very fucking fun. I'm having a blast with these. But yeah, these are like their own like little corner. You know, this isn't Threshold Mortal Kombat.
We've gone past that somehow.
Yeah, we've crossed the threshold, so to speak. Haha. Anyway, what are we doing next? I think we're doing a commentary next, right?
Yeah, whatever happens after the monk crumble, frankly, my brain sort of goes blank after that because every time somebody says monk crumble, I just think about that for 35 minutes.
Next week ish. Maybe next week. Next episode, certainly.
Yeah.
Next new episode. How about that? I'm just gonna
Yeah.
hedge all the
Life
bets.
occasionally gets in the way, but we're working on it.
We got some stuff going on both. There may not be a new episode next week, but when there is a new episode, it will be Mortal Kombat Conquest episode 5. The Essence, the one where we meet Kitana and Kali. After that, we will wrap up Mortal Kombat Blood and Thunder with issues 3 through 6. We'll still have to tackle the tournament edition, but we're going to do that separately because a lot happens in that one. And for now, though, let's get out of here. Corey, you got something new to plug, don't you?
Yeah. So
tell the people.
If you thought, boy, I like hearing Corey talk about Mortal Kombat stuff, I wonder if he talks about sequels and reboots and remakes to movies. And then I told you I did. And then you listened to that as well. And you said, boy, I like hearing Corey listening. Nope. I like listening to Corey talk about Mortal Kombat and also sequels and reboots and remakes to movies. I wonder if he has a podcast where he talks about Formula One. Good fucking news.
Yeah.
The launch has been, I would call it a soft launch. It's not like we've done much of a marketing push at this point. But we have 2 episodes out of a podcast called Strat 2, which is a podcast about Formula One with my friend Callum. And those are all sort of wrapping up the 2021 season. And then we have 2 on the way shortly. Sort of preseason 2022 stuff. That season has started, but, don't have infinite time. So working on it.
Right.
And then on a pretty regular but not weekly basis, those will be coming out as well. So if you want a laundry list of all the places you can listen to me talk, there's here. There's They Made Another One, which is They Made Another on Twitter, and They Made Another One on all your podcast services. And then there is Strat 2, which is at Strat2F1 on Twitter and Anchor. We are currently on Spotify and I think Google and Amazon, and we're working on the rest.
Going to put a link to Strat 2 in the show notes here.
That was the first time. I've been podcasting for a long time. It's the first time I've done any of them in person.
Nice.
Which was pretty wild.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different vibe. I spend a lot of time on mics in person, but rarely do I get to say things anywhere near as dumb as I usually do.
Right. That's the fun part, is being a fucking idiot with somebody else in the room.
It is.
And you are killing it, dude.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I left that as like a cliffhanger, like you were just going to transition away from that. But thank you.
Strat 2 is fun. You guys.
Wait, you listened to it?
I did. I don't give a fuck about F1. But like outside of, I don't know, Monaco Grand Prix on the Sega Dreamcast.
World's greatest video game.
But good show. Entertaining. Funny. Should have called it Strat 69.
It was considered.
I know it was. That's why I said it. That's not my joke. I believe it was Callum who said that.
Oh, yeah, it was.
You can find me on Twitter at Final Neil. Follow me on Instagram at Final Neil Retro. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at MK Podquest. Go to our website, mkpodquest.com. Find links to our podcast on all the different services. Find links to our YouTube channel. Send us voice messages. Send us emails. Find our merch store. All that kind of stuff. If you like what we do and want to throw us a few dollars to show your appreciation, we greatly appreciate it. You can do that at ko-fi.com/mkpodquest, or if you're cool, supersecretwhitelotussociety.com.
God, the first person to really commit to only interacting with us on a super secret White Lotus Society basis is going to be a real king.
True hero. Legendary. Lord of Chaos, if you will.
Just like Z.
Let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We are both just fully in love with you. All of you.
It's a breaking news.